And before I hear from my colleague, Mr. Marcos Charles, to talk about a subject that I think is very important given the events over the past couple of days. And that topic is the topic of choices. Choices. Now, choosing or making a choice is one of the only true freedoms that any of us really have, is to make a choice. Whether that's the choice to be here today as the media, the choice to go to school, join the military, join law enforcement. Making a choice is a freedom that resides within us. Now, good choices are important in life, as we all know. And many actions that take place are due to our choices. The choice to, say, cross the border illegally, that is a choice that someone makes. To cross the border illegally, that's a choice. The choice not to utilize the CBP Home app, that's a choice. Not standing in line and doing it the right way, that is a choice. And there are always actions that result from our choices. When you choose to use your 5-year-old child as a shield to evade law enforcement, that is a choice that someone makes. And there are actions and consequences that result from that choice. Or when you're a politician or a community leader, you make a lot of choices there, some very important, wide-ranging, and in-depth choices. When, as a politician, if you choose collusion and corruption as a choice, then there are consequences and actions that take place because of that. That's one reason the U.S. Border Patrol and ICE are here in Minneapolis by the thousands, is because of those choices. When politicians, community leaders, and some journalists engage in that heated rhetoric we keep talking about, when they make the choice to vilify law enforcement, calling law enforcement names like Gestapo, or using the term kidnapping, that is a choice that is made. There are actions and consequences that come from those choices. And then when you choose, when someone chooses to listen to a politician, a so-called journalist, a community leader that spouted that type of vilification towards law enforcement or anything else, when you choose to listen to that, that is a choice, and there are consequences and actions there also. I think we saw that yesterday. And those actions and choices can obviously have tragic consequences, bad outcomes, outcomes that law enforcement never wants to see. Law enforcement never wants to see a bad consequence due to a poor choice. Now, these choices have reverberations throughout society. Let's take a look at, go ahead and put that on the screen, please. Yesterday, Border Patrol agents were engaged in a targeted law enforcement effort to apprehend this individual here, Mr. Jose Huerta Chuma. Look at his criminal record: domestic assault, intentional infliction of bodily harm, disorderly conduct. He's also got some other records there as well. This individual remains at large today. This individual is still roaming the streets today. This is the individual on that targeted law enforcement efforts that Border Patrol agents were engaged in yesterday when they were disrupted, assaulted, and prevented from conducting that Title VIII mission by individuals intent on making the choice to riot, to create anarchy, and to be a violent mob. This individual walks the streets today because of those choices made by politicians and those perhaps weaker-minded constituents that chose to follow directions of those politicians. Sad state of affairs. Now, enforcing the law is not a choice. I choose to be a Border Patrol agent. Mr. Marcos Charles chooses to be an ICE agent, but enforcing the law, That's not a choice. That is a duty. As we all know, those laws were enacted by Congress, signed by the executive, and upheld most of the time by the judiciary. Those are the laws of our land. That is our duty to enforce those laws, whether that's a Title VIII immigration law, whether that's chasing a bank robber or a spy or whatever else. That is our duty, whether it's a state and local law enforcement agency, and they make choices also. Do they support federal law enforcement going after Mr. Jose Huerta Chuma, or do they not? We all make choices. Our Title VIII immigration mission continues. Next slide. Our Title VIII immigration mission continues unabated here in Minneapolis, despite yesterday's tragedy that was preventable by folks making better choices, politicians, journalists, and would-be anarchists and rioters. This individual from Laos was apprehended within the past 24 hours. This operation continues unabated. This is evidence of that. We will continue to make these streets a safer place. It is our duty, because we choose to be Border Patrol agents and ICE agents, to take individuals like that off the streets so we can make Minneapolis and America a safer place. Thank you.
By the way, was in federal immigration
Hold on
custody.
questions until the end. Mr. Marcos Charles will talk and we'll take questions at the end. Ma'am. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I know Commander Bovino spoke about yesterday's incidents in the situation, but I also want to draw your attention to the continued uptick in violence we're seeing against federal law enforcement officials, not just here, but across the country. Yesterday, here in Minneapolis, a crowd of violent agitators tackled an ICE special agent when one of our special response teams went to assist. A protester literally bit off part of that agent's finger. The officer received immediate medical attention on the scene and was transported to the emergency room for treatment. We do want to thank the people at the hospital for the assistance and the staff who treated our officer. The officer is recovering, but is now permanently maimed and has lost part of his finger. I don't think I have to tell you that this kind of violence is unacceptable, but I also don't think I need to tell you that this kind of violence is not a coincidence. When sanctuary politicians, activists, and the media work hard to create chaos and fear instead of using their platforms to reassure their communities, this is the result. The reality is, and this is what Commander Bovino and I have been talking about all week, we're out here to arrest dangerous criminal illegal aliens so they can't victimize innocent people in our communities anymore. Since the beginning of this operation, we've arrested over 3,400 illegal aliens, removing criminals, gang members, and terrorists out of Minnesota communities, detaining them in ICE custody for removal from the country. Those are criminals who won't reoffend in our communities. Those are criminals who won't be creating more victims that could be one of your family members or loved ones. Some of these criminals that we arrested yesterday are on the scene, well, these are our agitators from yesterday, if anybody wants to take a picture of these people or haven't seen them yet. The first picture was the individual who decided to bite off one of our agents' fingers. Some of the criminals we arrested yesterday: 40-year-old criminal illegal alien from Honduras convicted of assault. A 51-year-old criminal illegal alien from Laos convicted of assault also. A 45-year-old criminal illegal alien from the Ukraine convicted of first-degree robbery. And a 46-year-old criminal illegal alien from Laos who is convicted of facilitating child sex crime. ICE officers and agents are out there every day arresting the worst of the worst, so law-abiding citizens in this country and in Minnesota can sleep easy at night. This work isn't about headlines. It's about public safety. Now take some questions.
Commander
He
Bovino.
was previously in federal immigration custody in 2018 at a jail in Minnesota, and then was released under the Trump administration again in 2018. You talk about choice. That was also a choice to release this individual, the man that you were targeting, obviously to detain him. So if he was released in 2018 from federal immigration custody, why would that be the case? Why was that choice made?
Yeah, I don't know the particular case in 2018 that you're talking about, but this individual that you want to put that back up there, please? That individual is now an illegal alien. It's my mission to find this illegal alien before he harms another American citizen and does harm. That's what I'm after there. And yet we can go back and look and blame in history. Right now, my mission is to take this individual off the street. And the main point here being is this individual is in the process of being taken into custody. Agitators, rioters, and anarchists prevented us from taking this individual into custody because of a very, very chaotic scene. This individual should be in custody right now, not out on the streets preying on Americans. That is the story that is most poignant here.
Commander Bovino.
Multiple videos from different angles of the shooting from yesterday, and at no point is he seen brandishing.
I'm sorry, repeat that, please.
We have seen multiple videos from the incident yesterday from different angles, and at no point do we see Alex Pretti brandishing a weapon. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem said that he was brandishing a weapon, and in the video we see him on the ground with his hands on his head. We see an officer leaving what it appears to be with the weapon after he extracted it from Pretti's waist area. Did the officers see the weapon? Did they see him brandishing the weapon at him?
Sure. Many videos out there, many different accounts that you may see, that I may see, that anybody here may see. That, folks, is why we have something called an investigation, to take what you're talking about, to take those videos, to take witness statements, to take officer statements, all those minute details that will paint a true picture, not a freeze frame concept, and paint a larger picture of what really happened. That is why we investigate, so we can get to the truth, so there's not speculation. Speculation after 24 hours, you've got a lot of speculation in there. That officer, let's think of what those agents were doing on that scene, making a split-second decision. You had 24 hours to try and armchair quarterback things. That agent had a split second to make a decision.
Commander Bovino, between your agency, Commander
It's
Bovino.
not speculation.
Who's next?
Commander, was Alex Pretti armed when he was shot?
Again, the investigation is going to uncover all those facts, things like how many shots were fired, where were the weapons located. All those facts are going to come out in the investigation. I wasn't there wrestling that assaultive subject that was assaulting Border Patrol agents. I wasn't there wrestling him myself. So I'm not going to speculate. I'm going to wait for that investigation to come. No, don't interrupt me. I'm going to wait till that investigation comes out until I make a decision there.
If there's an investigation going on and you have not concluded, isn't it possible this was a bad shooting? Or have you already concluded for yourself that this was justified?
I've not concluded anything. I've not given you a conclusion, but what I do know,
It's a bad shooting.
what I do know is this individual was on that scene several minutes before that shooting, interfering with a lawful, legal, ethical law enforcement operation to arrest Jose Huerta Chuma. And again, it's back to choices. We just talked about choices. When someone makes the choice to come into an active law enforcement scene, interfere, obstruct, delay, or assault law enforcement officers, and they bring a weapon to do that, that is a choice that individual made.
No.
Commander Bovino, when it comes to the shooting, from what I understand, there were 2 agents who fired shots. We know one of the agents had 8 years experience, and we know he was a less lethal instructor and had this training. What did the other agent, what was his history? And Are they both working right now or are they on administrative leave?
All agents that were involved in that scene are working, not in Minneapolis, but in other locations. That's for their safety. There's this thing called doxing, and the safety of our employees is very important to us. We're going to keep those employees safe. As far as the number of shots, the number of agents involved, that again is going to come out in the investigation. I'm not going to speculate on who did what, when they did it, how they did it, or what exactly occurred there. I'm going to wait for the investigation to let
But we
me
did say
know
that one
what
of them
happened.
did have 8 years experience. So we are talking about one of the agents. Why
Yes.
not talk about the other who shot as well?
Because before those facts come out, we need to ensure that we're talking truthfully and accurately. And before I speculate, I'm going to talk truthfully and accurately.
Between your agency, Border Patrol, and Mr. Charles, your agency, ICE, we've now seen 2 separate people shot and killed by your officers within 17 days. Do either of you plan on taking any accountability for those actions?
2 suspects, or you're correct, 2 suspects have been shot, and suspects that assault, delay, obstruct, or threaten a law enforcement officer's life. It goes back to the choices that we just talked about. When individuals make poor choices, poor decisions, come into a law enforcement situation, an active law enforcement situation, conspire to come into that situation, whether that's based on ideology, we don't know. That'll be in the investigation that we just talked about. That's what we base the split-second decisions on, and our law enforcement officers are safe. They managed to come home at the end of shift. And, again, I would implore upon any individuals, whether they're anarchists, rioters, or anyone else that thinks it wise to go into a law enforcement scene to disrupt, to delay, is to don't do that. Let's think about that in terms, say a bank robbery is in progress and the police are taking care of that. And then you decide to go in there and perhaps take action. That's not a good idea in any form or fashion. The same thing with Title 8, same thing with Title 8 enforcement. We are after an individual with a very serious criminal record. We don't need any help. Thank you.
Commander,
Commander, group chat. Can you talk about the leaked chat of protesters? Commander.
The public wants more answers.
Hey, Sugar Geeks, do you hate dishes?
Really? That's what we doing? Just cut that right off. Ooh, okay. Child. Yeah. It was hostile. It was real hostile. Hold on, cause Walz, Governor Walz supposed to be having a press conference. Let me see if I can find it real quick. But I mean, he came on and was like, "Y'all need to stay out of our business," and pretty much left it at that. But let me see if I can find it real quick. Hold on, y'all. Sure, that was real tacky. Yeah, hold on. That can't. It gotta be more than that. Okay, hold on. It's essentially what he had to say. It ain't long, but we'll take a quick peek at it. All right, cause child, you're doing a lot. All right, let's see what he talk about.
Good afternoon. Today I'm joined by Attorney General Ellison, Public Safety Commissioner Bob Jacobson, Minnesota Department of Corrections Commissioner Paul Snell. Thanks everybody for joining us again. We're now about 24 hours from the killing of Alex. And during that time of everything that's happened, I hope everyone's taking away a picture of a life of generosity, service-oriented, and his life's coming into clear focus. I had the privilege of talking with Michael and Susan, Alex's parents, yesterday, and the heartache in the hours after your son's murdered in front of the world is one thing, but what stood out to me was a parent's desire and their passion to make sure that the story of Alex was told. Someone who went to work to
Let me keep looking because that is not it. That was super low. No. Let's child, my thing. The investigation's still going on. Y'all could have kept all of that.
just because.
All right, let's start from the beginning. All right, here we go. Start from the beginning. Okay, this is actually. It's actually gonna start. Let's see. Y'all can't tell that's the gentleman that was that lost his life. Let me put it like that. Apparently he only been talking 5 minutes.
And the heartache in the hour.
Come on.
About 24 hours from the heartache in the hours after your son's murdered in front of the world is one thing, but what stood out to me was a parent's desire and their passion to make sure that the story of Alex was told. Someone who went to work to care for veterans.
Okay.
Someone who
he was a nurse
valued coworker
at the VA.
Someone who relished and lived in this state in a big way, whether it was outdoor activities or being down there on the street as a First Amendment witness to what ICE is doing to this state. So once again, to Michael and Susan, when I talk to these parents, it's always in deep confidential conversation. In this one, though, Michael was very clear to me. He said, don't let them forget Alex's story. The world knows how he died. He died at the hands of ICE agents on the streets of Minneapolis. They want us to make sure we said how he lived. So to Michael and Susan, our deepest sympathies, but you have my commitment to continue to tell that story. So now we've got 2 Minnesotans dead. We didn't had time to start telling Renee's story of a poet and a mother and a bright spirit, and now we're telling Alex's story. So my question is, what's the plan, Donald Trump? What is the plan? What do we need to do to get these federal agents out of our state? You thought fear, violence, and chaos is what you wanted from us, and you clearly underestimated the people of this state and nation. We are tired, but we're resolved. We're peaceful, but we'll never forget. We're angry, but we won't give up hope. And above all else, we are clearly unified. If it was the intention of Donald Trump to make an example of Minnesota, then I'm damn proud of the example that the world's seeing. We believe in law and order in this state. We believe in peace. And we believe that Donald Trump needs to pull these 3,000 untrained agents out of Minnesota before they kill another person And we're up here telling another story of a Minnesotan just trying to live their life without the interference. To Americans who are watching this right now, and I don't know, maybe you're watching it with curiosity, bewilderment, horror, scorn, or sympathy. I've got a question for all of you. What side do you want to be on? The side of an all-powerful federal government that can kill, injure, menace, and kidnap its citizens off the streets? Or on the side of a nurse at the VA hospital who died bearing witness to such government? Or the side of a mother whose last words were, "I'm not mad at you"? The side of tens of thousands of peaceful citizens who showed up to march when the wind chill was 40 below because they love this state and they love this country. You're allowed to decide at any point that you're not with this anymore. If you voted for this administration, heck, even if you thought Operation Metro Surge was a good idea, sounded like the thing to do a month ago, you're still allowed to look at what's happening here in Minnesota and say, this isn't what I voted for and this isn't what I want. I ask you not to stand by idly. Speak out, share what you're seeing, and urge others to put politics aside. We're no longer having a political debate. We're having a moral debate. We all want secure borders and immigration enforcement that prioritizes criminals. And I want to thank the press, especially the local press, who has done a deep dive to show that's exactly what Minnesota does. But what you're seeing is not common sense, lawful, or humane enforcement. That's not what this occupation is about. Let me say our conversation should not be about, and I know we get asked of what we're doing on there, how many state patrol or police or National Guard I can put on the street. This isn't about how many people I can put on the street. It's about how many of these people, these ICE agents and whoever else was thrown into this unholy mess, how many Donald Trump can get out of here. Minnesotans, you've won the hearts and minds of people across this country, and you've done it through your peaceful, resolved defense of your neighbors and the Constitution. So once again, Minnesotans, stay peaceful, stay safe. Change is coming and we can feel it. But this fight still goes on. And I'm just glad today to be joined in person because it's someone who's been at the side of Minnesotans throughout this and through every other thing we've gone through over the last 7 years. Someone who we describe as the people's lawyer, someone who is fighting this battle for the Constitution, for the safety of Minnesotans in courts every single day. I want to give this over to Attorney General Keith Ellison to talk a little bit about what's going on with the state on some of the lawsuits and what our expectations are in the coming days. Attorney General.
Thank you, Governor. Governor Walz, thank you for your excellent leadership during this very, very difficult time. This unprecedented time, Governor, because quite honestly, there's never been a deployment of immigration agents this size in the history of the United States. There have been times in American history where they've deported a lot of people, but a concentrated deployment of ICE agents in one state in one period of time is unprecedented. And therefore, there's no playbook. And therefore, nobody knows exactly how to deal with this situation, but it is unique and particularly puzzling, given that Minnesota does not have the highest immigration in the United States, given that Minnesota has a very, very professional community of law enforcement professionals who are taking care of the safety of our state, given the fact that the Department of Corrections, pursuant to state law, hands over people who ICE is looking for and they have proper paperwork for. Given all of that, this is a very curious situation and would reasonably lead someone to ask why. So let me talk about Alex Pretti. Alex Pretti was a nurse at the VA. I happen to have a son who's 31 years old who spent 5 years in the United States military as a combat medic. But toward the end of his deployment and the end of his service, he wanted to go into nursing, and so he did. and ended up getting an RN degree and works in the healthcare system here in Minnesota. And when he was at work today and last night, he said, "Look, my colleagues were crying and in tears, and they took this hit to one of their own very personally." And he said, "I did too." He said, I didn't find myself shedding tears, but I could have, because I just was brokenhearted, because I know the service that he and the love and compassion he puts into taking care of the people he took care of at the VA. So, an intensive care nurse, kind, compassionate person to friend and family, described by coworkers as the first person who would jump in to help. And he was our neighbor, and he should still be with us right now. So let me just note that Superintendent Drew Evans of the BCA, another exemplary professional in our state, he is the BCA is the state's investigative agency, and it is their job to investigate crime. They have a specialized unit to investigate the use of force cases. They arrived on site after the shooting and were refused access. They then secured a judicial warrant, a warrant signed by a judge, which has never been needed before, and were still refused access. This is uncharted territory. Now, friends, this comes at the tail end of other offenses, like a shooting in North Minneapolis and another homicide in South Minneapolis, Renee Nicole Good, where they also were denied access to the scene, and investigators are, to this moment, still being denied access to the investigative file. This is not a rash decision for us to go to court and to seek a temporary restraining order from a judge to preserve evidence and prevent the destruction of evidence. I don't care if you're conservative, liberal, or whatever, but you should at least be in favor of conserving evidence in a homicide. And to have to go get an order from a judge to preserve that evidence is extraordinary and should alarm everyone who believes in equal justice under the law, and who believes that every person, no matter how this case ultimately is resolved, deserves to have their case investigated to get to the truth of what happened. This is an extraordinary moment in an unprecedented time, and we're doing all we can to step up to that moment. My office represents the BCA and joined the Hennepin County Attorney's Office in a lawsuit last night, as you know, and we moved to prevent the destruction and or tampering with evidence related to Alex Pretti's shooting. And this includes any evidence the federal agents took from the scene of the shooting, preventing the state authorities from inspecting it. We've never had to do anything like this before. Never before. We filed that motion last night and for a temporary restraining order, asking the court to take immediate action to preserve the evidence. And last night, within 2 hours of the filing, a judge granted the motion. The Department of Homeland Security and the federal government are now enjoined from destroying or altering evidence related to yesterday's shooting. The fact that anyone would ever think that an agent of the federal government might even think about doing such a thing was completely unforeseeable only a few weeks ago. But now, this is what we have to do. As we said in our filing last night, the irreparable harm we would suffer if the federal government were allowed to destroy evidence is so weighty that any harm to the federal government does not even budge the scales in a court balancing of the scales. It's imperative that we preserve as much evidence as possible so that the state investigators are allowed to access the evidence to ensure a fair, thorough investigation. And I will say, I've heard not one single law enforcement or investigative agent in the state of Minnesota say that they won't share the information with the federal government. I've heard quite the opposite from the federal government. Now, Operation Metro Surge. As I noted when I started, this appears to be the largest single deployment or surge of immigration agents in the history of the country. And as a result, tremendous damage has been inflicted upon our state. We've had 2 killings within 2 weeks in an additional non-lethal shooting. We've had countless numbers of people who have been stopped and had the demand for their papers, to have to show their papers in America. We've had door-to-door knocks where people have their homes barged into without cause of right. And we've had stores have to shutter, students not going to school. We've had reduction in employees going to their job sites. We've had jobs being, little markets being shut down, restaurants being interfered with. We've had a countless number of harms. And so we took the action of suing the federal government over Operation Metro Surge. And tomorrow morning, I'm going to be in federal court with my team arguing for a restraining order against Operation Metro Surge. I filed this case almost 2 weeks ago, and this will be our first hearing. The lawsuit we filed is one that is caused by the unprecedented nature of this surge. It is a novel abuse of the Constitution that we're looking at right now. No one can remember a time when we've seen something like this, when a state can marshal facts to show that our targeting is not based on excessive amounts of undocumented immigrants or anything like that, but we're targeted because of politics, which violates our First Amendment rights. The 10th Amendment, which we are entitled as a state to equal sovereignty, and we have been denied that. The federal government is literally commandeering and coercing the state of Minnesota to bend to its will, which is the prerogative of the people of the state of Minnesota. Let me remind everybody, let me take everybody back to 8th grade civics. The states predate the United States and came into the Union preserving their rights as states to be the states that the citizens of those states want them to be within a constitutional framework. It is at the fundamental, it is in the DNA of American history that the federal government cannot trample over the prerogatives of the state. And that is exactly what is happening here, and that is exactly why we're going to court. This surge has drained local law enforcement time and resources. Jacob Frey, if he were here, could tell you that they've spent north of $2 million on overtime responding to ICE. They've damaged our economy, hurt our education system, and terrorized community members. And it must stop, and tomorrow is a big step in that direction. Now, as I noted a moment ago, people will ask, well, why Minnesota? I'll say this. Minnesota is dealing with targeted oppression from the federal government because of who we are and who we value. Minnesota is a place where we welcome the stranger. We have a number of nonprofits that focus on refugee resettlement in Minnesota. Minnesota is a place where we take care of the vulnerable among us. We're a state that just passed paid family leave. We're a state that believes in feeding our kids who are in school, and we're a state that believes that Minnesota is a great place to live for everyone, no matter where you were born. Of course, we obey all laws, but we still believe that immigration is not a sin. We're leading, they're coming after our state, in my view, because of what we stand for, because we voted 3 times in favor of somebody not Donald Trump, which he has publicly said he resents deeply and believes is not even true. I can tell you it's not about fraud. Because if he sent people who understand forensic accounting, we'd be having a different conversation. But he's sending armed, masked men. This is a pretext, and it's not supported by the facts at all, which has brought us to court challenging the justification that the president has offered. For those watching around the country, I would submit to you that just as Portland and Chicago and LA were precursors to Minneapolis, Minneapolis is a precursor to a whole lot of other places that they have their eye on right here, right now, including Maine and several other states. If we don't stop this behavior here, it will only expand, and it won't be good for anyone in our country. Minnesota is staying strong, and I want to join Governor Walz in my just pride in being a Minnesotan. No football game victory could ever make me feel as good about our state as I do about people standing up, helping their neighbors, engaging in mutual aid, giving each other rides different places, making sure that there's enough groceries, protesting, using their First Amendment rights. This state has a lot of spirit, and Minnesota nice is a real thing. I wasn't fortunate enough to be born in Minnesota. I was born and grew up in Michigan, and I can tell you that this state has a lot of nice people. It really does. And a lot of people who believe in taking care of their neighbor and welcoming the stranger. And as we see right now, resisting tyranny. So I just want to say that as the courage of protesters and others who are helping their neighbors is so evident on the streets of this great state of ours, we at the Attorney General's office and in Minnesota state government can do no less than match the courage you have already shown. And we will not back down, we won't blink, we won't bow. We will stand firmly on our constitutional rights and in favor of Minnesotans. We will do that in the ballot box, at the courts. We will do that in the streets in a peaceful, legal, First Amendment protected way. And we will do it in a multitude of ways. But one thing we will not do is we will not back down and we will not bend. And so let me wrap up by saying this. We will never forget Alex Pretti. We will never forget Renee Nicole Good. And we will never forget any of the Minnesotans who have suffered so unjustifiably in this time. Minnesota is a great place. That is why I believe we've been targeted. But it's not going to work. And we'll be in court tomorrow arguing for the rights of every Minnesotan to stand up and be the generous, courageous people that we are. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney General. We'll be glad to take some questions, folks. Tom?
Walz, you got a letter from Attorney General Pam Bondi making several demands, I guess you would call them, regarding sanctuary cities, regarding fraud and voter rolls.
Here you go.
Your response to that, and is there anything that you can do to meet the Trump administration at least part of the way to try to turn this temperature down?
Well, first of all, it's not a serious attempt, and the Attorney General sent that in. I would thank the local folks and Commissioner Snell. Thank you to you and your team over there. In that letter, they talked about, you need to hand people over who are in your jails. They're taking credit for people that we've had in jail for a long time. We always hand them over, and the commissioner very clearly. So they're lying. They're lying. This has nothing to do with fraud, as the Attorney General said. They're not sending us forensic accountants, and these are things that have been we're dealing with now and have been for quite some time. So look, it's not a serious attempt to get at this. The way to fix this is get these folks out of here. We've continued to work with them. They asked us for these numbers. We provided them. We continue to show, and they're not serious. And look, I think everybody understands what the last request was, totally unrelated to anything on the voter files. This is, again, as the Attorney General said, Donald Trump telling everybody that the election was rigged, who started all this nightmare for America. Has nothing to do with it. And I would just give a pro tip to the Attorney General. There's 2 million documents in the Epstein files we're still waiting on. Go ahead and work on those.
For you or the Attorney General, if they're not honoring judicial warrants, how can you trust that they're going to be honoring this temporary restraining order?
Well, that's a good question. I'm glad you asked it because, since Trump 2 began, and even including Trump 1, we filed a lot of lawsuits. We're north of 50 now, and they've been on everything from birthright citizenship to SNAP to things like the National Institute of Health, to EV, to all kinds of things. And they've been complying with the orders. Now, I will say the foot drag, we've had to threaten them with contempt a few times. And I'm not saying that the compliance has been good. I am saying that open defiance of court orders is not something that we've experienced. And so I have every reason to believe that they will obey the court order. Now, if they don't, we have recourse and we'll pursue that recourse. On a deeper level, your question, I would simply say this. Just because they may not do the right thing does not absolve us of the responsibility of doing the right thing. We're going to seek legal recourse, and if they disobey a court order, then that's on them. But we're going to seek those orders, and we're going to insist that they be followed.
Local sheriffs have said they lack the legal authority to honor ICE detainers, and that's something that Attorney General Ellison has said as well. They lack the authority under Minnesota law. Is that an authority you could just give them? Could you pass a law? Yeah.
So really, the key issue here is I think most sheriffs in the state do fully honor ICE detainers and provide notification. The issue becomes when they have a lawful reason to be released, bail, released by judicial order. The jail cannot hold that person beyond that point in time. That's the fundamental issue. There is not a lack of cooperation. There is just some legal boundaries. We've had some conversations with ICE about this. We think that there may be some things that could be worked out, but I don't think that's the core issue that we're really dealing with here.
Can I simply say that it puts Minnesota in a very difficult position, because if such a person were held beyond a period of time when the state court has the authority to hold them, then the state court is exposing itself to liability. So ICE just has to show up and do its job.
That's the fundamental question here. And that's the fundamental argument they keep making. We cooperate. We don't do their job. You saw it this week with rural conservative Cottonwood County. Sheriff had someone, told them this person's time is done. We can't just hold them indefinitely. It's against the law. So we're going to release this guy. Come and get him. They're too busy up here doing what they did yesterday to go pick up someone who actually should be removed from this country. And I don't know how many times they try and confuse the people across this country. It's their job to do immigrations and customs enforcement. It's law enforcement's job to do law enforcement in Minnesota. They are not doing immigration enforcement, saying we should be doing that, while they're apparently now trying to do extrajudicial law enforcement on our streets. So this is a red herring. It's untrue. The Attorney General of the United States put falsehoods into a letter she sends to me that we are doing what's asked of us, but we're not going to do your job for you. We have other things we need to do.
Are you getting back to the evidence in Pretti case that you might not get access to his camera footage and that you might not get to the bottom of whether he was carrying an ID or not?
I am deeply concerned about the preservation of evidence, which is why we went to court last night. But I have faith in Judge Tonsrud's order that it will be followed, and I can tell you that Minnesota officials are going to do everything we can to get to the truth. And again, as a prosecutor, I am not allowed to say what the final outcome is going to be. We have to get the evidence and find out. But if you're asking me, Tom, if I'm concerned, you better believe I am concerned. But look, they've got the order. Now they're going to defy the court if they don't follow it.
With Vice President Vance when he was in town on Thursday, I understand.
I did.
Can you tell us about what the tenor of that meeting was? His goal was to turn down the temperature. 2 days later, there was the shooting.
Well, I guess it didn't work, huh? I mean, here's the thing. Governor Walz and I were in Congress together for 12 years before both of us went to go serve in state government. we're used to talking to these folks. Why not see if there's something that can be arrived at? I can tell you that it was a polite meeting. I can also tell you that I walked out of there thinking that we probably weren't going to get anywhere. Because quite honestly, a few hours late, not even hours, a few minutes later, he just got up there and just articulated the same talking points he made to me in the meeting. I tried to correct him. He didn't want to hear that. And so I'm like, well, welcome to Minnesota. Thank you very much. You both both of us have things to do. So see you later. And I left. It was cordial enough, but it was not fruitful. But look, I just think that, and I'm sure the governor agrees. If you can try to talk to somebody sensibly, we do. But that one didn't get where we had hoped.
Yeah, Lauren Gurley here from the Washington Post. Do you know if the federal agents who were directly around Pretti during the time of the shooting are still out on the street in the Twin Cities or anywhere else in Minnesota? Any of them?
Don't know. They don't talk to us. They don't tell us. They don't.
And with the BCA being denied access to the scene after getting a warrant, is there recourse for them that way? Or do you feel that this restraining order that you obtained requiring the federal government to preserve evidence is that recourse?
So there are certain legal strategy decisions that I'm not at liberty to just go on about in a meeting like this one. What I can tell you is that both the warrant and the TRO are evidence of our resolve. And we are going to get to the truth of what happened to Mr. Alex Pretti and to the truth of what happened to Renee Good. And that's what we're pledging. And we're going to use every legal means to do that. So I can't tell you, I'm not at liberty to tell you what you're asking me, but I am here to assure the public and who's listening that we are going to get to the truth of this matter, and we won't be deterred and we won't be denied.
We did see BCA agents at the shooting scene this morning. Can you confirm what they were doing there?
Absolutely. The question is about whether or not the BCA agents were on the scene of the shooting this morning, and they were continuing to collect evidence that they've seen. They're also doing some canvassing of the neighborhoods. I don't want to get into any more of the investigative process in this, but at the BCA, we are going to continue to investigate this shooting based on whatever evidence we're able to get, and we appreciate the Attorney General assisting us with the temporary restraining order to make sure that the federal government is retaining evidence that will be available, we would assume, to us at a later time. But the investigation will not pause. We are continuing to work on anything and everything that we possibly can.
I'm going to close with one thing that I promised the parents with Michael and Susan. And I speak to all Americans on this over these last 24 hours, what you saw. You're now knowing more about this young man, beloved by his family, accomplished ICU nurse, skillful in ability to work with veterans.
Who should have been at
Someone
home
who's loved by
somewhere or
community.
either at work.
No criminal record.
You cannot get
Lawful
your life
firearms
taken
owner.
from you if you ain't out there.
And you know what you saw. And then you heard the most powerful people in the world, certainly in this country, President, Vice President, Greg Bovino, Kristi Noem, narrate
Our
to you
Rittenhouse
what you were
was
looking
fine because
at,
he was the one that was actually, saying
that this
being
was a
harassed
domestic
for assault.
terrorist, crazed, running at law enforcement with the intent to kill massive numbers of them, sullying his name within minutes of this event happening, and then closing the crime scene, sweeping away the evidence, defying a court order, and not allowing anyone to look at it. I don't care if you are conservative and you are flying a Donald Trump flag, you're a libertarian,
Kirk
don't
was at
tread
work.
on me, you're
It's different.
a democratic socialist of America. This is an inflection point, America. If we cannot all agree that the smearing of an American citizen and besmirching everything they stood for and asking us not to believe what we saw. I don't know what else to tell you. This has to be the moment. Your government here in Minnesota, I've made it clear, I'm accountable for things that happen here, and I will take responsibility for that. Someone has to be accountable. Someone has to hold the final decision on this. And sitting behind a keyboard at 2 a.m. and besmirching a VA nurse and a son and a coworker and a friend is despicable beyond all description.
Nobody,
This
nobody,
is not, we
you know
need
what
to
I'm
see
saying,
both
denying that
sides.
he had ID
This
and
is
he had
not,
his
we need to
license
wait for
carry all of
this.
that. We're just trying to
This is
understand what the
basic
hell is
human
going out
decency.
there.
And at this point in time, I'm just asking, try for a moment to set aside the political side of it and go back and ground in the humanity of this. This family has gone through enough, and to have the most powerful man in the world drag their dead son with absolutely no evidence and gaslight the entire country, this is enough. And I would say, President Trump, you can end this today. Pull these folks back.
That's not smart
Do
at all.
humane, focused, effective immigration control. You've got the support of all of us to do that. Let our law enforcement continue to do what they do, making Minnesota one of the safest states in the country, one of the best places to live. Allow our children to go back to school. We have got children
It
in
does
Minnesota
matter. He the one ain't here.
hiding in their houses, afraid to go outside. Many of us grew up reading that story of Anne Frank.
He wasn't out there alone.
Somebody's going to write that children's story about Minnesota. And there's one person who can end this now. And I'll go back to it again. Please show some decency, pull these folks out, reset this situation, and allow us to do the job that the Attorney General, myself, were elected to do, protect the people of Minnesota and carry out the laws of Minnesota. We'll be back with you when we get more information.
All right, that's all we got. I'm just saying. It is right. We all understand, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, he didn't do anything illegal per se, but out of everybody who was there, why was it you who got caught up? You're a medical professional. You know it only takes a split second for everything to go, you know what I'm saying, from being sweet to being a complete disaster. And you're gonna go out there and poke the bear. Like it doesn't make sense. Why do that to yourself? Because everybody think it's not gonna be me. Everybody think it's not gonna be me until it's them. That's all I'm saying. And my thing is, if you're not feeling the president, you're not feeling, you know what I'm saying, Pam, you're not feeling Greg, you're not feeling anybody who got anything to do with any of this, the best way to have them looking crazy is to go in the house. Don't be out there in their face. If everybody in the house living their life, worrying about their business, going to work, taking their kids to school, then all you would see is ICE standing around looking stupid. Ain't we have nobody to talk to, nobody to harass, let y'all tell it. No, nothing. Why not go that route instead of all out there in their face, you know what I'm saying, throwing trash cans all in the street, hitting people with your cars, and all this different kind of mess? Why not just go live your life? Because again, I'm in the city, ICE was here. I'm sitting here talking to y'all because I wasn't all out there, you know what I'm saying, combing the streets, looking for them all up in their face. My sister's in the city where she see ICE at least 3 times a day, 5 days a week. She's perfectly fine. You know, if you're not feeling it, leave it alone. They won't. You don't bother them. They won't bother you. And again, I'm getting this from people who see ICE on a regular basis. So, just go that route. It just don't seem to be hard. But it just seems like these people is like hell bent on cutting the food. Okay, again, ICE been here in my city for a minute, Don. But I ain't had no problems. You said, why does a person come to a peaceful protest with a loaded gun and 2 extra magazines of bullets? Yeah. And see, this is the thing, though. This is the only reason nothing is going to happen is because of everybody who, you know what I'm saying, has had an interaction with ICE. Nobody completely clean. You got this dude. You got Renee with the vehicle. You come on, y'all. You might as well look at this like the old saying, don't start none, won't be none. Why y'all keep talking about Kyle Rittenhouse? Because that video clearly showed him being harassed and assaulted and him pulling that gun out in self-defense. Like, I'm just confused. I mean, in a way, he kind of did. Why? What was his purpose for being there? He wasn't gonna make him go home. What's your purpose for being there? I think they already understand loud and clear that, you know what I'm saying, the people of Minnesota are not feeling their presence. They clear on that. So why were you there? What was your being there gonna do that it didn't do yesterday, the day before that, last week, the week before that, and the week before that? I'm just saying. For everybody who's out there, not just him. Why? And stop helping these chicks, because these are the ones who get it all set off. You'll say y'all what happened to equality? They wanted equality. So help, they want to, you'll say, get it started, then let them finish it. That's called equality. Don't throw the rock and hide your head. They want equality. Let them handle their business. That's all I'm saying. This been going on 3 weeks. They not leaving. They not leaving. I don't care how long y'all go out there and walk around, how long you holler at them, how long you tell people where they at, where they live, what their name is. Like, the same danger you claim you in, you putting their family in. Their family ain't out there. They out there. It's not going to end. It's first off, it's too damn cold. I'm in North Carolina, and you know what I'm saying? We just had a little taste of winter come through here. I'm cold as hell. I ain't nothing in me finna go out and protest in no damn snow about nothing. Y'all holler at me later on. Do my protesting on this YouTube and TikTok. It's cold as hell. Y'all like there walking around for nothing. Child, please. Nah, I'm good. I'm good. Now I'm straight. I am good. There's no point in being out there. But let ICE be out there and damn freeze. Hell, it's football on. Another game coming on tonight. It was good movies on Lifetime yesterday. Like, it's too damn cold to be outside for nothing. Thank you, Ryder. I'm listen. I've been in the house since 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. We had, you know what I'm saying, the snow started about 1 o'clock this morning. Then it switched over to freezing rain about 5. And the next round's supposed to be starting again around 5 this evening. I ain't going nowhere. I'm good. But you got goofies out here in it. I'm watching them in the window, ride up and down the street. I don't understand why y'all people can't just stay at home. What the hell? I mean, how you can't stay in your house that you pay for? Ain't that supposed to be your place of peace? Y'all be doing too much. Man. Now you can't stay with yourself. You can't kick it and enjoy your own company? That's the real problem. That's the real problem. Y'all ain't learned nothing from C-19. Beg to go back outside so y'all can get right back into the same debaucherous nonsense that you was in before. And look at you. I'm sorry. It's too damn cold to be outside. It's too damn cold. What you say, son? Messing around with them guys, wonder what happens. Fuck around, find out. Let them do their job. It won't be no problems. This is what I'm talking about. Again, my sister see him 3 times a day, 5 days a week. She see him going to work, lunchtime, and going home. She ain't had a problem yet. Yeah, people do want to be relevant, and they don't care how they do it. I'm just saying, it's too damn cold to be out there. You got people literally let me pull up and see what the hell going on in Minnesota. There ain't no way in hell I'll be out there. I'm sorry. If it's 20 degrees here, kiss my ass. Let's see. Damn. It's 4 damn degrees in Minneapolis, and you think I'm gonna be outside? You think I'm finna be outside messing with some people that ain't going nowhere? Hell to no. Absolutely not. How much snow they got going on up there? We had the little flurries, but we getting ice. So I know ain't no way. Ain't no way. Let me see. Shit, I'm not going out there. Spill. Let me see. Shit, y'all need to quit playing. The damn high is 4 degrees and the low minus 13. And you think I'm finna be out there arguing about nothing? Shit, y'all kiss my ass. I'm not, no. Exactly. Mind your business and not everybody else's, and won't be no problems. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Hell no. Hey, talking about you ain't going to work. Why are you not going to work? Y'all put yourselves in situations. If you was at work and you're doing something productive, you ain't got time for all of that. It is the land of the free for the ones who's supposed to be here. Look, Ryder, them people out there, they went out there fucking with ICE. ICE, you know what I'm saying? They got their list of people they looking for, and they follow. Now, this is what they say. They following, you know what I'm saying, they leads and whatnot. But all these other people, y'all jumping, y'all putting, you inserting yourselves in this. So again, ICE been in my city. ICE still here in my city. I'm free as hell. I go where I want to go, do what I need to do, and I come the hell on home. But what I ain't doing is out looking for ICE. Hell, I saw ICE about 3 blocks from my house. Was I over there messing with them? Nope. I was uptown, walked right past them, detaining somebody. Did I jump all up and down? Y'all need to leave them alone. Hell no, I kept on walking. That wasn't my business. They weren't looking for me. I'm straight. You don't have to get. You do not have to involve yourself. You just don't. You ain't got to involve yourself in that business. 33 degrees, but y'all head, yeah, what's kind of you going out there protesting, BB? You going out to protest in that weather? Let me know. I'm just trying to figure out what y'all doing. Like y'all clearly must not have no nerve in this. I don't see how that works. Hell no, exactly. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Anybody watching the football game? Denver get ready to score. Yeah, I'm good. I am good. This is what I'm talking about. I'm just like your tit duct should be frozen at 33 below zero. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Only ice you worry about is in your driveway. That part right there. New England and Denver. AFC Championship. Denver get ready to score. What is that? The set? That's the 7. Yeah, I'm good. I am A-okay. That's all I'm saying. Like, I'm not for anybody getting hurt on either side. I'm, saying, just for common sense. Common sense would tell you, because this is not the first city they have been to. It's not the first city they've been to. As you see, they leave when they get ready to leave. You're not going to force early exit. You should be able to, it's on CBS. So you should be able to get on your local. Touchdown, Denver. Yeah, it's on CBS, and then the other game, the NFC game, Rams and Seahawks will be on Fox. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, just make it's going to happen, so make the process as smooth as possible. That's all I'm saying. What you say, Eric? The simple solution is for Tim Walz to complain with it. Yeah. Good, H-Mont. Yeah. This is about to be interesting. I'm gonna say that. Yeah, and with common sense to tell you not to interfere with police operations. You would think so, but again, it's the one thing I've seen is the Trump derangement syndrome. It erases your common sense. The Trump derangement that must be one of the that must be how it works. Your common sense is completely erased. Well, refresh your antenna. You might need to if you got one. And keep it moving. I'm just saying. Yeah, stay out their way. But then you talking about people common sense, like we literally are expecting 1.5 inches of straight ice, and we got people riding up and down the street. Common sense to tell you to go in the house. These folks done bought up everything from here down to South Carolina. Why are you outside? You got everything. You done bought up everything. You got everything you need to be in the house. Why are you outside? Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, Eric, he has failed Minnesota. That's why he out here talking. You say your team not my team ain't playing neither. But I guess you're saying I watch it because we literally after this game, there are 2 games left, and then bye-bye football until July. Sweater season went fast. It went super fast. Super fast. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, all of this has just been, all of this was avoidable. You understand? You know, I mean, you have the right to protest, but I mean, just because you had that right does not mean exercising that right is going to be in your best interest. But nobody wants to talk about that. I think it's going to be New England and Seattle. That's what I think. Now the Seattle gonna tear them Rams up. They got lucky last week. It's gonna be a repeat. Seattle and New England, and then next year it'll be something completely different. Vote. Okay, hold on, Eric. They'll leave that up. Nope. Hold on. I don't like the Rams. It was better in St. Louis. It was better in St. Louis. Should I put playing? Off of one. Right. Exactly what we're gonna do. Hold on. What you say? Oh yeah, no, I don't do nothing with them Chiefs. I'm good on that. Yeah. NFL don't run out of ways to hook them up, so. Okay. Don't do that. Yeah. Oh, the Eagles, my team. Oh, wait. I didn't know you said this. Hold on. Here it comes, Eric. What'd you say? Free Diddy. Yeah, I'm for that. I'm all for that. I am all for that. See, he ain't done nothing to nobody who wasn't a willing participant. I'm not one of them believe all women. Just to let y'all know. You should have it in a few seconds, Eric. I am not a believe all women because I'm a woman. I tell you, bitches be lying. So he's supposed to be having another hearing. I don't know why I keep getting pushed back. He put in an appeal. He was like, I need to be out. They need to let Diddy out. Because again, he didn't do anything. He was not riding around in a white van snatching people up off the streets. People was going over to his house of their own free will and was staying 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days at a time. That is not, you was abused. I'm sorry. Let Diddy out. Free Diddy. Free Diddy. I'm just saying, you can't go and participate for 5 years, and then when you know what I'm saying, get cut off. Now you want to come back and say you was there against your will. You was there against your will for 5 years. I mean, Ryder Gypsy, that's true too. Same thing with Weinstein. You went over there 5 times. You knew what it was. You went the first time, and you know what I'm saying, you wasn't liking how it went down. Then you don't have to go back no more. Why you going back 4 and 5 more times? Same thing with Bill Cosby. I'm good. You was up there hitting them Quaaludes for a whole year. Then when you know what I'm saying, and this is the thing. I might have to do a whole nother show on this. This could go down a rabbit hole. This my thing. Somebody giving you a shot is all well and good. You know what I'm saying? Nothing wrong with trying to help somebody out. But them giving you the shot don't guarantee you gonna make it, because you still have to do your part and show up. So you over here laying up popping quaaludes with Bill Cosby, and he gets you a reading in front of a director, and then you go in there and bomb the reading. Now you want to come back talk about Bill gave you quaaludes against your will? Nah, you didn't do your part. You didn't do your part. You didn't do your part. So that's not Bill Cosby's fault, because you didn't do your part. His part was to get you the opportunity. Your part was to capitalize on the opportunity. That's just like if your best friend gets you a job interview, and then you go to the job interview with dirty Crocs on and some sneakers, talking about some, you know what I'm saying, I'm just coming to fill out my paperwork. And then you blame your friend, talking about your friend set you up because you didn't get the job. That's crazy. He in trouble because he got child. Okay, I'm just saying that's not how this works. But this is what these chicks be doing, and folks be going along with it. Stop being afraid of these hoes. Stop being afraid of these hoes. You don't take all of that. Oh, there you go. What's going on?
Nothing else. Saying Walz is a fool for real. Like, you know what the simplest solution for him is?
What?
And I don't know why he do it. What Trump says, and ICE is basically okay. Instead of ICE have to be, basically, going for the fugitives and everything else, for illegal immigrants. The easy thing for him to do is comply with Trump, comply with ICE, let ICE access to jail when it comes to the immigrants, if they get asylum or whatever, and the rest of it, they, pretty much they get decline for asylum.
Mm-hmm.
But Tim Walz never wants to do that. That's what pisses me off with Democrats in sanctuary cities. Just comply with ICE and Trump. None of this will happen.
Exactly.
Because I know in red states, this never happened.
You got a point. You got a point, because I'm in the red state, and again, we just didn't have all of this going on. We did have some protests, but it wasn't people running up on. It was one chick that tried to run up on ICE, and the people snatched her back, and was like, "If you don't yeah. It was about 10 minutes from my house. Yeah, this ICE had closed in on a group that they were looking for, and she called herself, you know what I'm saying, following them and honking a horn and you know what I'm saying, flashing the lights and all that, trying to tip the guys off or whatnot, child. And the people, they boxed her in and let ICE go about their business.
Yeah. That is fact. That is fact. I'm like, I can't really feel bad for the people that, the protesters that do shot and kill. Like, you say the stupid game is really stupid crime, because as many, growing up and ever, as many times Black people didn't comply with law enforcement, then every white person said, "Oh, he should have complied with law enforcement." What happened?
I'm just saying. I just don't. I don't have regular interactions with law enforcement, but the ones that I, have had with them, I have not had one come to me in any type of, threatening or aggressive manner. I
agree with you, because
this whole narrative that we, and when I say we, I'm talking about Black people, like the pain as soon as law enforcement say something to you, you're gonna die, is not true.
That is facts. That is facts. Because I know for myself, right? I got pulled over like 2 weeks ago, right?
Mm.
And it was the most simplest, the simplest thing. I comply with, law enforcement. And it just gave me a warning. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's start. And I know that they could have gave me a mean ticket because, I was in the wrong, but at the same time, it was cool. He was like, hey, fuck you running. Just follow, just stay in one lane. That's it. I'm like, all right, for sure. That's no problem. But I did see I did see a few videos that them people in Minnesota, especially for the protesters, they be looking at your eyes and stopping people that supposed to stop. I see.
Send me some of them so I can react. Since I ain't
Oh,
going.
that was a cellular live just today. I was like,
child, yeah, I ain't going nowhere. We ain't got snow. We got ice.
Man.
But yeah, child, these folks, like I'm just saying, I don't. We just don't have these problems. Like folks be creating it. Now I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but a lot of times these folks do not, I'm saying the last time that I've seen, it happened with, that it got publicized in the news with us black people where the person was nowhere in the wrong at all was Philando Castile. He's the last one I seen.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of these folks,
right.
always some kind of angle. We trying to clean up, their criminal history and them not trying to run off and fight and all this different. No. Yeah, them paid protesters, they're trying to get their check, but y'all need to find a better way to make a living.
That's I agree.
Because you out here to harm people, so you really ain't no better than your common drug dealer.
I like the worst of the common drug dealer at this point.
I'm just saying, because they be like, they be trying to get their bread, but they be like, I'm gonna hurt anybody who, get in the way of me get what I got to get. But these protesters, hell, y'all can go get you a real job. You ain't got to be doing all of this.
Another real job.
First of all, again, it's too cold. It's too cold for all of this. It is 21 degrees here, Eric. It's cold. I'm not going out looking for nobody.
Well, you already know me. When it's if it's under 40 degrees, I ain't going no goddamn way. Unless unless I have to work, yeah, that's the only time.
Right, I'm not going looking for nobody.
Yeah, I know out of Minnesota. I've been out of Minnesota like 3 months back.
Mm-hmm.
Hell no. It was too damn cold. I'm like, man, I can't do it. It's weird. And cold.
This is what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. We got wind over here. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
I can't do it. I don't know how these people, protest and come out there just to, harass ICE.
As an ICU nurse for the VA, he didn't know that they had the potential to go wrong.
Oh, I knew they had the potential to go wrong.
We in the midst of quote unquote civil unrest. Let me take my ass home so I can get up and go to work to take care of the veterans.
Mm-hmm.
So was he really in it for the love of the people, or was he there for the check?
He was there for the check.
Okay, you know what, sweet James Jones, you're absolutely right. We need to sit this out. This ain't got nothing to do with us, but we the ones out there. Like a bunch of idiots. Sit down somewhere. It's too damn cold. Thought black people ain't like the cold. Thought we was a tropical people. What the hell y'all out there for?
Like,
quit trying to say, quit letting Becky put that battery in your back. Cut that out.
Yep.
Cut that all the way out.
And I don't like that's the other thing is they got the fake Black Panthers and BLM protesting for a white chick. What happened?
Exactly.
I know Black Lives Matter. Supposed to be for black people.
Exactly. You ain't seen none of them. Yeah, we stay misinformed, James. We stay misinformed. But then as soon as you try to bring them some information, you got to be the problem. Something wrong with you because you trying to bring some information to the table. You rather sit down somewhere and get you a couple of blankets and a book and read something while all this snow going down versus being out here in the street causing problems. We got
Yep.
goofballs stuck on the interstate right now because they couldn't sit down somewhere and be at the house. And child, DOT and law enforcement was like, y'all just gonna have to be there because we ain't coming.
Especially with this winter storm now.
That's what I'm saying. That was like, because I'm like, we got flurries last night, but we're slated to get freezing rain and ice. That was like we're not coming. We told you not to go out there. You went, you gonna have to figure it out. We're not coming.
I can't blame you. I can't blame them for that at all.
You know how 85 run through here? They was like, we're not coming.
Yeah.
And then I know you've been on 485. They was like, we definitely ain't going out there.
Oh, I hate the 40. I hate that 485. That's a B word right there.
Yeah, 485 is trash. But yeah, you gonna go out there and get stuck. It was like, yeah, we can't. No. Mm-mm.
So I remember last time I was switching to 485, I was stuck out there for like 10 hours because airline of mine was busted. My airline was busted out of the side of the road.
Man,
And they had to tell me because they couldn't fix it where I was at, which was too dangerous for somebody to actually fix it. The mechanic could fix it right there.
Yeah, 485 is a fool. It's spots at 485. You can't get any signal. I don't care what carrier you have, it's just dead. It's still spots at 485 that don't show up in Google Map yet. Like 485 is a fool. So yeah, we had goofballs that went out there last night because again, the freezing rain and the sleet started about 2:30. And we have goofballs out there still trying to be at the club and went out there and ran into stuff and they was like, we ain't coming.
Yep. I'll tell them straight up, good luck.
Because it was like we had flurries, then that stopped, and then the sleet started, and then that stopped, and then we got some. So you had, you know what I'm saying, snow, sleet, snow, and then we back to the sleet. Like, but it's 20 degrees.
Oh, that's the worst combination. That's the worst combination. Straight up.
This is what I'm saying. And these goofballs is out here trying to ride around. Nope, I'm good.
Oh, that's how it was in Colorado yesterday. I was stuck keeping chains up for 100 miles.
Wow.
I was pissed. Well, oh, we got to put chains on for 100 miles. I was like, man, this is bullshit.
What you say? Yeah, BLM is not for people of color. You have been tricked. Charlotte, yeah.
And BLM is biological naturalist.
The biggest mistake we make is we always trying to be included in something, and we always trying to drag somebody else into something that was meant for us. Leave it alone.
I think the only time black people was actually smart when immigrants were trying to get us to protest for them. Nope.
Yeah,
that was the only time a nigga was smart.
What you say? Exactly. Why do people want frostbite? Hell no. I ain't doing it. It's cold. But I'm straight. We don't need that at all. But yeah, I'm just like, y'all sit down somewhere. But no, they don't want to hear that.
If I wasn't working today, man, I would not be moving nowhere.
I'm looking at one going down the street right now. So okay, you playing these games in the Toyota Corolla. Okay.
Like you don't got no chains on either.
No, ain't no damn. They ain't got no chains. They ain't got no chains. So when you say that to these people here in North Carolina, they be like, "What you talking about?" I'll be like, "Never mind, never mind."
And that's one way to be safe.
So he already was like, "Yeah, we are not coming to get you. So go ahead and stay at the house." So there was some cornball out here this morning. It was about 6:30 with the Uber sign flashing. I mean the Lyft sign. I'm like, what?
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. I was like, I know you ain't out here soliciting. Quit playing. Ain't nobody. The sun wasn't even up good. It didn't get like daylight till like 7:15. I was like,
hell no. Hell no.
I'm good. We're not doing this. We're not doing this.
God.
Mm-mm.
That's
No,
funny. Funny.
absolutely not.
And that's what these protesters never don't never learn. Okay, I said you gonna try to you make it worse yourself because you actually go looking for ICE, and then when y'all protesters get deleted by ICE, oh y'all wanna have an uproar. No, that's your
This
fault.
is what I'm saying. You go looking for them, then turn around, slap you in your mouth, and then now you want to holler about something, but you went over there. If you had been at home, them 15 miles away that you live from where this took place, you would have had no problems.
And let's also accuse the other people that they think there was ICE terrorizing them, following them all over the place. Yeah, you work with ICE. You work with, and they tell you, no, I don't work with ICE.
These people, I saw the I'm gonna do a video on it. This man was at the Enterprise, right? And him and his family was gonna go on the trip, so he going to get the rental car. So they gave him gave him a Suburban, and these damn fools rolled up on him talking about some you need to get that back and get you a different kind of rental car.
What? That's a BS, really?
We know you here renting this car for ICE. Like, is you see?
Wow.
Yo, I'm telling you, he was like, I ain't got nothing to do with ICE. He said, nothing is any of your business, but me and my family going on a trip. I got 7 kids.
He needs that van.
That's
7 kids.
For the Suburban. He was like, listen. They was like, nah, because you ride around in this, you're saying if you're not ICE, you support ICE because you ride in this. You need to get a different kind of rental car. He was like, if you don't get the
Hey, I support ICE all day.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a video. I'm telling you, folks is out of control. They all out of control.
So I be Trump, he's actually doing something about it. Shoot, like the last 4 years, what did we see? Inflation,
man,
influx of immigrants. And I was telling so many people, like, man, don't vote for Biden because you can see somebody doing Trump, but he's not. He got an agenda. And I need to all my favorite. Oh, I voted for Biden. Man, I should listen to you then in 2020. I'm trying to tell you. And what to me, what the main what made it so damning was what he said in he was talking to the Black Caucus.
Mm-hmm.
That's what made me not vote for him. That was just the main thing. Like, hey, I ain't gonna be able to do nothing, but this is my agenda. I want to help out immigrants and LGBTQ. Nah.
But this
that's what your policies is.
This my thing right here. If you let's say you did come over here, you know what I'm saying, you did, you know what I'm saying, go ahead and hit that Rio Grande and come on across the border. And you've been here, let's say you've been here 15 years, right? If you really was committed to staying here, why not go ahead and get your papers? So ICE knock on the door, or immigrant, whoever, knock on the door, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody know it's 15 Mexicans live in this house. And you know what I'm saying, they raid the house and it's $60,000 in cash. Yeah, half of y'all could have had y'all papers. What's going on? Like, they never have a good reason for not getting their paperwork. That don't be making sense to me. You here, you working, you claim you staying out of trouble. Why not get your paperwork if you really don't want to go home? You've had a decade and a half. You've had 2 decades. You've had 3 decades. Why not get straight? I mean, you've been here 6 months. I mean, I'm not looking for you to have the paperwork. But 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, what happened? That's all I'm saying. Because I mean, like it or not, there is a group, you know what I'm saying, that come over here illegally that, you know what I'm saying, are productive citizens. Well, productive people. We can't call them citizens. There is a group that come over here and Don't do in your their limited crime is being here illegally. But then now you do have a sector that, you know what I'm saying, come over here and raise hell. So, I mean, we got to call it both ways. Seeing conservatives blame the man who was murdered, pretend he was brandishing a gun, claim he deserved it because he didn't have an ID is just about as horrifying as the video himself. This is true, Audrey, but I don't think anybody in this chat has done that. We just trying to figure out why was he out there. Like with everything that's been going on, and as you know what I'm saying, as volatile as the situation has been at times, why even be out there? That's all we was trying to figure out. But I mean, nobody's, well, I don't know, a couple people was like, I mean, you fuck around and find out. But I mean, in a way, that's true. I would just like to know what his thought process was. But now if he went out there on some goofy, you know what I'm saying, TDS type of time, then hey, then absolutely FAFO applies. If he, you know what I'm saying, didn't, and then, we got the whole, he was defending the lady narrative. What was her mindset? Why was she there? Yeah, hold on. What was her mindset? Because she might have been out there on some foolishness and fuckery. That's all I'm saying. You gotta, when you out here, saying, putting yourself on the line for other people, you gotta be real clear about what their mindset is before you do it. Because you don't know what's gonna happen. Just like I'm sure he thought, let me help this lady, and we're gonna be able to resolve this and go on with our business. And clearly that's not what happened. I mean, it's just, messed up. Well, wait. It's just, it's unfortunate, what I'm saying, when this type of stuff happens. But again, your mindset comes into play. I seen it, you should have it. Right, that's why you don't follow the group. Exactly. Think for yourself. But in this day and age, people do not know how to do that. They don't know how to do it. They do not know how to do it. Everybody looking to somebody else for direction. Everybody looking at somebody else on what the move's supposed to be. Like, no. I know for me, the move is I ain't going out there starting it with ice. That's what I know. That's my move. I ain't going. That is my move. I'm not going. I'm cool. Hold up. Okay, see, this is out of order. Yeah, I'm gonna have to come back later on, and we can take a look at what's happening out here in these streets, in these Minnesota streets, because this is just crazy. But maybe actually not. Stop playing. I don't like that. Yeah, it's too much. It is way too much. Hold on. Government, she called it. Okay. Let me say that. That's good. We'll have to use a video for that. Do a video on that one. But I mean, child, you're right. Protesting really not doing anything. Okay, Eric, get your gases. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, but I'm gonna be back later on tonight. we're gonna take a look and see, you know what I'm saying, what else is going on with the folks. And I'll, you know what I'm saying, have the link and then folks can come up and we can have a real discussion about what's going on. But right now I'm about to get up because I'm sitting in front of windows, so it is cold. It is cold. I'm about to get away from these windows and heat up. I will see y'all later. I do appreciate you for coming by. Make sure you hit the like button if you have not. Subscribe if you are new. I do appreciate you for all of the comments in the chat. You guys, you have some interesting perspectives. I'll say it like that. Looks like the protesting and the rioting is not gonna stop. Just like these people riding around here in this ice is not gonna stop. But I hope you guys have a relaxed and warm rest of your Sunday. And again, I will see y'all later on this evening. Have a good one, and thank you for your support.